Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
everybody? Professor Keith here. Second interview with an assassin. Dre went first. Now I got Darth Acre on the line. What's up, my guy?
What's up? I
Glad to
glad
have
to
you.
be here. Thank you, Professor.
Glad to have you, brother. Well, I ain't gonna sit and bullshit.
Yeah.
You just jumped straight on into a little bit about you, where you're from, how you got into this bullshit, what you like, what you don't like, yada yada. And we hear what you got to say, man.
All right. They call me Darth Acre. It's there's a background to it, but I am been in crypto for 3 years now. 2017. Um, I was familiar about Bitcoin, since 2013, I think. And how it goes. A lot of people really talk about it, and you hear it on the news.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I got into crypto because, you know, trying to be profitable as much as I can. I really was interested about the technology and the prospect in terms of what it does and its potential. So
Mm-hmm.
I was drawn to it, and I met I met you, Professor, and one of the streams that we were on, and that was about 2017. No, wait, no, that was 2019.
2018, 2019,
Yeah,
right?
2019, 2018, 2019. So at that time, I think my approach with crypto was never been technical. And there's a background story to that. And basically, you hosted a technical analysis group.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, my perspective in terms of crypto has been technical, regardless of the whatever technology you're using, whatever protocol is out there. So, yeah, that's how I got started. Um,
All right, so you never had any other investing of any kind until you actually jumped into crypto?
let's see. I think I was trading. I was day trading around 2017, 2018,
Okay. Just stocks or
and
something?
that was yeah stocks. I was trying to integrate it in my life. Just trading stocks in the morning, trying to get that morning rush. But that wasn't sustainable for me just because I had to go to work and you have to wake up. Market opens at 6:30. You need everything prepared
Mm-hmm.
by like 5:30, 6 o'clock. And I was opening these trays, and by the time I get to work, I'm already, you know, basically my tray's gone. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
So you're just an everyday dude. You're not
so
a professional trader. You have a job like everybody else.
yeah, basically.
All right. Well,
And
that's
with
how
crypto,
most
I
of
mean,
us are.
you know,
So,
it's, yeah, and crypto's open 24 hours, so that's one of the reasons why I got into crypto.
well, I said this before, but the reason I got into this was because when I went to China, I mean, I had already heard about Bitcoin and shit before, and I'd only been ever. I started investing in myself in 2009, 10. I stopped putting money in my retirement back then when I lost it all, when the investors took it all from me. So I thought I'd do it myself, and I'd started investing my own money then. But I never really got into it. I just kind of would listen to the news and followed,
Right.
CNN's little money ticker at the bottom, and I would listen to Mad Money and the Kramer guy, and I'd try to find something that was going to be good and roll with it. And I never didn't really know what I was doing either. So it's interesting to hear other people's perspectives about how they got started and why they got started.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that time I was just trying to map out um, resources in terms of who I should learn from, and you know how it is. Everybody's charging so much just to
Yeah,
learn from their courses and stuff. So
bro, that pissed me
uh,
off so much.
Yeah, thousands.
It
Thousands of
pissed
dollars.
me
I mean,
off.
I
I was
I
like,
think I
why am I not included in your little club? How come I can't be in your club? Why is it such an
and
exclusive club? I don't get it.
once you get in their club, you realize that some of the whatever technical analysis they're doing is so simple that it's not even worth the money that you pay for.
Exactly. You're just paying to listen to
So
them talk. I can listen to anybody talk.
yeah, I think there's a bunch of people you're sending signals and a bunch of tickers that you should watch that day, but they don't really tell you what to do with it. They just tell you buy here and sell here.
Hmm.
There aren't any techniques that they really show.
That's exactly how I started. Simple enough. Took what couple of dollars I had and started trying to buy stocks. And back then, there wasn't a Robinhood and Ameritrade
Mm,
easy use app. You had to try to figure it out. At least I did. And I thought, God, this is complicated. No wonder there's only a couple people doing it. You know what I mean? That was my first thought. First
right.
initial reaction into trying to invest was, this is impossible. This is impossible. How can anybody do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, I agree. I mean, um, it doesn't make sense to just follow somebody and you expect the trade to go the way they said.
Hmm. So when you're charting, when you're looking at things, what are the typical ways that you first, like everybody, like I've noticed that I have my own special way that I immediately look at something. Other people have their own ways. What's the first couple things you look at every time you open a chart?
You know, I've learned to just be systematic about it and just go monthly. Same things that we do. Go monthly, weekly views, and I draw the resistance lines. I didn't learn until recently that resistance lines really matter, especially if you're. I learned it more in futures trading that those targets really matter. Prices tend to hit those spots. Most of the times they do, and so yeah, I run the resistance lines. I draw it and make any patterns I can recognize. Um, and I run the pivots, I run the fibs. Probably pivots last. Run the fib, see where it is, if it's retracing or not. So yeah, it's pretty basic. I mean, the resistance lines really is like a bread and butter of charting.
I see you got the stochastic RSI and the MACD pulled up there. You like those too?
Yeah, Stoke and RSI, MACD. This give you an idea whether so MACD, for example, if you show you where the volume is, the convergence and divergence are. If it's below the midline, then you know it has a long way to go, and price action generally doesn't really happen until you cross that. Um,
There you go.
and Stoke and RSI, yeah, you want to make sure that it's not it's not a downtrend, it's not below the midline. So yeah, that's also key. Those are key. Basically, what I have on the chart here are key indicators. Um, Primarily, yeah, Stoke RSI, MACD, yeah.
Okay, so
And we have the MAs.
what I see on your chart right now, you have
Mhm.
the stock RSI, the RSI on the same indicator, and then you have the MACD
Right.
below that, and then on your actual plotting chart, you've got fibs pulled up, looking at
Mm-hmm.
how far the retracement may or may not have happened. You've got some sort of channel drawn, and you've got moving averages.
Mm-hmm.
So explain a little bit about the channel and stuff you've got pulled up.
Yeah, so the channel is, I think it serves as a landmark for me in terms of trajectory. Um, and you have moving averages. That's been really important because you want to make sure that you're either on a downtrend and or uptrend because that'll dictate the play that you're going to try to make. Um, and I have the Bollinger Bands up here. It serves uh, you know just reinforcement. Make sure that they are on the green
Hmm.
and or the width of the Bollinger Bands. So this particular chart, I had the fib drawn because I was trying to see the retracement for algo, and again, it made some technical moves. Retracement here at 0.5 and 0.618. So helps to not only identify the retracement levels with fibs, but also recognize what barriers you have. So that could be resistance lines or the moving averages,
Hmm.
and you combine that with the stock RSI and the MACD, and yeah, you have a pretty good idea what the chart's doing.
So you basically add everything up, you come to a consensus. Whatever you see, you go with, and you don't try to fight against it. Is that's what I'm hearing?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you sort of just think and behave based on what the chart's doing. I mean, the channel here is a particular play, and I think you highlighted that recently about channel because since this particular time frame from the March drop and sorry, right before that, so June 9th, 2019, I was way back. The ones I have here is from February. This is right before the March drop. This is from this year,
Hmm.
and this channel is drawn to just to recognize the higher high that we had and also the lower low.
Hmm.
So this is a specific play, um, and I'm trying to make sense of where the lows are because this is where I think we were watching the retracement back
So
in November.
So right now, what I see is inside your channel. Not only did the channel play perfectly, but it did a perfect 618 retracement at the exact same time, almost landmarking you
Yeah,
a bottom.
yeah. When this retracement was happening, a lot of people were thinking of a particular location where it's going to bottom out. And so when we were watching this, we had an idea where it's going to land just based on a fib in this channel here. So if you broke the channel, of course, it invalidates it. And who knows, you could have dropped lower and it resets your channel play.
Hmm.
Uh, but this particular one, like I have this, I don't know what shape this is, trapezoid or something.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, we were drawing this box here, and at that point, the Bollinger Bands also were tightening up, so we knew something was going to happen. So this particular move, it retraced even lower. So it was either going to be at 0.5 or 0.68. And at that time, you match that with this channel here, and all those three matched up. So the 618 channel, and then also even the MAs here. So yeah, I mean, you're taking 3, 4, 5 indicators, and you put them together and try and make a rational decision.
All right, and I perfectly made sense of what you just said. So hopefully everyone else can make good sense of that because that was a really simple explanation. We knew price action was incoming. We knew it was going to go somewhere.
Hmm.
We're stuck. Is it going to go up or down? Once it broke down, we knew it was heading in a direction. Now, how far is it going to go? It's really not that complicated.
No, not complicated at all. No.
Now, what we used to think was extremely complicated became not so complicated. That's the whole point in teaching what I teach. I could do it way more difficult and way more complex, and like we could, oh my God, I could get super technical with it, especially with finding every single tiny little bottom. But I really don't know that anyone
Uh,
would be interested in trying to find every single tiny little bottom. I think that would frustrate the shit out of everybody. And if you
oh
can
yeah.
make it a little easier for everyone to understand, well, gosh, why not? I mean, we could sit here and learn indicators forever. Over in the other Discord channel, there's 180 something indicators to look at. I mean, my God, who's going to do that?
Yeah. So you tend to scan around, see what kind of indicators people use and what kind of system they use, but it's either incomplete. They don't have the extra layer of decision making. They don't have the extra layer of reinforcement. And once you learn the system, you tend to learn that, wait a minute, you actually know a little bit more than they do because you watch the chart and you invalidate what they're thinking. I mean, they explain to you what they're thinking. This is irrational, and then you place extra layer of charting here, and you realize, wait a minute, no, actually, it can actually go here. Which in this case, what if let's say you bought here at the 0.5, and then you have this drop here, and algo is a perfect example because around that time, there's some YouTubers are talking about algo. It's a perfect buy at 24 cents or something like that, and that's the last time you'll see 24 cents. And really, I mean, it dropped 22 cents, so you could have saved some money. If you bought here, this dip, this dip, this dip, and you're not watching the chart. But from our perspective, you see that it's not a buy signal yet. You have the 821, and it's misleading because they'll think it's a triple bottom. You have this triple bottom here, September 23rd, another bottom October, and another bottom October 22nd. So people are thinking, hey, it's a triple bottom, but you throw in the MAs and the fibs, and you realize, wait, it's not a buy signal yet. Mm-hmm. So, and the 2-3 cent difference.
It's a failure to get up off the floor, is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
And I think that point. I think when we were watching this, you kind of, you're thinking, hey, wait a minute, it's hitting triple bottom, is finding support at 200. However, it hasn't bottomed out in the bottom channel, so you were kind of holding off. As you had this fake out here above the 20, above the 8, but it didn't have a 2 candle buy signal above the 8, and 8 still under 21. So we had a hint that, wait a minute, it's probably going to go down further.
That third bottom that you were just pointing at, I'm not joking to you, at least 7 or 8 people messaging me saying, is it time to buy? Is it time to buy? Is it time to buy? And I'm going, just wait. I'm telling you, we're not there yet. Like, I wanted to buy too because it was on the 200 MA, which is that red line that he's got right there. And I'm thinking, I'm going to buy this. It's sitting on this 200. It's going to go. And then I just thought, well, why am I even...
Yeah.
It's like 3% difference. Why even struggle and fight over 3%? Like, what are we doing? So, sure enough, it went south. And I actually posted this chart on TradingView for the whole world to look at, and it almost played out identically.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, my God, that's the greatest thing I've ever done because I didn't panic and buy. And I was like, there's no more arguing. I'm not ever going to panic again, ever.
Yeah.
Because that proved to myself not to panic.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that was that was an epic move. Your charting for algo. It canceled out our emotions because now, all right, so on one hand, you have emotions saying buy, but the chart's saying no. And yeah, I remember that chart. Yeah, you want
like I'm looking at it, I'm still looking at it right now. I've got my chart pulled up too, and I've got my little box right here where I was looking at it going, all right, is this going to get off this floor or not? Yeah. Is it going to go? And it never broke trend, and I was just waiting on it to break trend so I could buy it, but it never did. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, I told you. You know what I mean? And it just felt so good. Now
that chart was like...
You actually came up with a whole separate system that we refer to as a tits play. I'd never heard of it before. It never, not regardless of the name, I'd never heard of it before, but at first it didn't make sense to me, and then after I watched it, I was like, hey, you know what? This is a pretty good point. If you could go through and kind of give a rough explanation of what a tits play is, and you don't have to give exactly how it works, but just kind of, explain a little.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Tits play. It started off as a joke. I think the stream where you're sharing charts. I think when you're accurate about a call, you're saying right on the tits. So tits became a play on word. Amongst us in the group, but tits basically is a way to navigate using the MAs and try to create a form of expectancy in terms of what that price action is going to do. It helps you kind of orient yourself. It's kind of like being in the water. You want to know what's up, what's down. So in this case, you're using the MAs from the lower moving averages to higher moving averages. So the TIS play, if you apply it, you can determine a time frame and see what the MAs are doing, and it helps you realize what to expect. So in this chart, I have a time frame pulled up here in the daily, starting from February when you apply. So the 821, that's kind of the bread and butter of what we do. But also you have the 50, 100, 200 MAs. And if they invert in order where you have 8 below 21 and they're both below 50, then it tells you, okay, this is a downtrend. And it determines what kind of play you're going to make. I mean, so TIS play not only orients you to what you're going to do, but also it helps you determine the price action that's going to happen in those time frames. So for algo, you can set buys, or if you want to buy at a lower price, you can do that. So it also helps you prevent fake outs. So here you have the 50 and the 21 crossing. So when this price action is happening right above this 100 support, and you see this green candle, you know that this is just simple price action because of this crossing.
Right. So this is an example right here, real quick, of trying to buy the exact bottom and it reversing up on you, and you thinking you bought the exact bottom because you bought that 100 moving average support. But in reality, what he's saying is the 21 MA is falling through the 50, which is the yellow line there, and its action is moving right back toward that crossing. And since it never broke through that crossing and negated it, we're not doing anything different. We're still going down.
Still going down, yeah. I mean, if you're trading futures or something in a lower time frame, you can probably use the same play and take advantage of that candle. But if you're playing daily in a long swing, I mean, this is a fake out, and it tells you that you still have to overcome the 50. You still have to overcome this downtrend here with the 8 below the 21. So
the second line you have pulled up right there is yet another example. The yellow cut down through the blue, which is the 50 through the 100. You got action going back toward the crossing, but it never crossed it. It stayed under.
Never did.
They just keep continuing on down.
And for this trend, I mean, if I'm watching this, in fact, you recognize this box here. It's a classic, I don't know, box pattern or whatever it is. But you're thinking, wait a minute, it's probably going to break through. And it tried to, and you put the pieces together. You realize, okay, there is a crossing. There is an OSCU cross, with the yellow and the blue, but the 50 is on the downtrend. So it serves as a ceiling, and it serves as a resistance.
So until you break through the ceiling, you don't buy. It's really not.
Don't buy, no.
You could have bought that.
No.
You could have bought that thinking you bought the bottom, and you could have made a couple percent there. And it never broke through that yellow, so it never got through the ceiling, which means it has a cap on it. And if it's got a cap on it, why would you buy it? That's another way of thinking about it.
Right.
And as you see what he's pulled up right here, that's 35% down because you didn't pay attention.
5%. Oh yeah.
On 1,000 bucks, that's $350.
Yeah. 350 gone. And you get emotional, you try to get it back, and then, whatever, it's just not a good recipe.
All right, so all this being said, what's your outlook overall? Let's just use algo as an example. I don't really care. It doesn't matter about the chart. But what's your outlook overall for what we're looking at for possibly this, if we are in a bull run? What is your outlook for that?
All right, so if you are in a bull run, then you should be able to conquer these MAs. So far, 821 conquered 200. 8 conquered 200. 21 is about to conquer 200, and we still have the 50 to conquer 100 and 200. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities. There's going to be a lot of chop here. Probably this is probably the reason why we're seeing a red candle here on a 35 cent. You're going to see this move up and down. You'll probably see testing this trend line here at the bottom, and so it'll probably serve as a pennant. And until you cross these, so the 50 crosses the 100 and the 200, you probably see the 200 dip down. Not until you conquer those lines that you'll see an upside above 35 cents. So overall, I think it's on track in terms of what Algo is doing. I mean, you saw the retracement, you saw the moving average is conquering levels above it. Outcome is good for Algo. With this channel play, I don't see Algo breaking these resistance once you conquer them, and it's only going to be either sideways or upside. So yeah, Algo definitely is one to watch. Yeah, and then as you can see, I have different tiers above drawn. So I'm expecting to see Algo conquer these tiers and make a play upside. And this is the channel play that we saw with Bitcoin, with Waves, and a few others that's making through these tiers, these upper tiers, and creating new levels.
Okay, that's awesome. See, this is another case here where a lesser person looking at what you have doesn't understand all these lines, and it's just to them mess, and they can't figure out what you're doing. But you've clearly created your own system here that works exactly for you, and you can tell what's going on, and you're clearly not wrong here. So this is yet another example of how people need to practice, just simply practice doing this, and ask questions. If you just ask, people will tell you people will tell you what's going on, and you can learn simply by asking questions and practicing. And now you learn. He's got a channel drawn. We just bounced off the bottom of the channel. We haven't got to the midline of that channel yet, and the midline of that channel is way up towards 70 cents, 65 cents, somewhere around that bullshit. And above that's way above $1.
Right.
Like, there's not much downside here.
Absolutely.
So this helps you develop a risk reward. You know what I mean? And the reward is much better than the risk right now. So these are the kind of things that I like to buy.
Absolutely. Yeah, all goes on the top list. I mean, if you can read it, if the chart speaks to you, it makes sense to observe it and see what it does. You know, versus like a chart that it doesn't make any sense. A few other charts like that, but the algo really does create these signals. You know.
All right. So what would your price be mid long term for algo if you were just guessing? We don't guess, by the way, y'all.
All right.
But
So
if you were guessing, where would you put it?
So for algo, you know, I'm looking short term. I have this dollar and $1.26. That's the top of my channel. If it tests dollar, if it creates, you know, if all the indicators line up and it makes sense, and it tells me that it's actually going to create an upper tier, I'll probably hold. I could sell some profits here, but I have 332 drawn as my max. But again, you know, if the chart is telling me that it's going to go up and conquer the upper tiers, if the display are pulling out, MAs are good, then, you know, we're going to keep going. The target definitely, I mean, if I zoom out, the target is way up high there. But for this,
God damn. All right.
I don't know, what is that, 900% or something like that?
Fuck yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, yeah, that's right there at June 19. Okay, that's why you did that. I got you. I see it now. Okay, I just had to zoom out a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the June 19th
Which is
line
interesting
here.
that the channel that he has lined up right there lines up with the June 19th area. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, so you try trying to look at a different angle and it matches up, and that's crazy about it. I think a lot of folks in the stream, a lot of folks in Telegram, the June 19th definitely is a big landmark. It's an important landmark because you see it time and time again.
It's scary, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, so we
we
joked
watched
around about algo.
we watched three of them yesterday go. Who's never even heard of these coins before? Just go straight to June 19.
Right.
Three of them, just random bullshit coins.
Uh, it's definitely spooky because as much as we joke around about algo, and we think that there's like the central control of algorithm, I still get spooked out because you see a dozen of coins hitting those J19.
I mean, like
So
I'm not when I joke around with it, like I'm joking, but dude, clearly software trades work on an
yeah,
algorithm. Clearly, they work on an
absolutely.
algorithm. There's no magic behind this, okay? But it's just spooky to me to watch, dude. Like it kind of freaks me out. I'm like, I'm seeing charts that haven't done it yet, and I'm going, ah, these are the ones I want. How long do I wait? You know what I mean? Like clearly we're looking at the daily here, and we know it's going to chop sideways for a bit more. But gosh, it's spooky as shit. I can't. I hate to be out of it and miss it, but that's FOMO. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play it like it lies. But damn,
Right. But yeah, on the target 219.
any
And you know
coins,
what? No Atlas out there. I really pay attention to that landmark.
any coins you've got that particularly you're interested in that not many other people are?
Um, I think we all pretty much share the same list. There's one that I'm kind of rooting for. It's like at the bottom of the barrel.
Oh
You
no!
know which
Oh
clone I'm talking
no!
about.
Oh no!
Uh, I think my internet's lagging here, but Force
Oh
Plus, I
god!
think, and there's other coins that are similar to
The
it. I think Force
king!
Plus, TNT, I think is around the
Oh!
same thing. But
Oh god!
this, I think this coin is basically just to test our limits in terms of how much we know our charts and what we can do with it.
And what
So
works
I'm
and what
rooting for
doesn't?
this
Yeah.
one. Yeah, if it's kind of like you're pushing
look at
the speedometer all the way to 120, 140.
look at that thing
So
squeak back over the eight right there. Just barely squeak back up over the eight.
yeah,
Whatever.
this thing still surprised me. By tomorrow morning, it's probably go to A, and next thing you know, end of the day, it'll pop back up. So
Yeah, the market cap is like $12. So every
that
time
was like a
somebody
prank
puts a
coin. I mean,
nickel in it, it moves up 10%. So
seriously, this is our group's Doja coin here.
dude, it's the worst, bro. It's the worst. And if this is also the coin we use to show everybody these quote unquote great buy opportunities of the quote
Uh,
unquote catching the bottom, and you miss and miss and miss and miss and miss. And this is why waiting for confirmation is so much easier. You don't have to hit a home run on every chart. There's nothing wrong with hitting a double and getting on base. There's nothing wrong with taking a walk and stealing a base. You don't have to hit home runs, man.
when the bases are loaded, you take a walk. I mean, you score, man. So
Exactly. You still score. You didn't hit a home run,
it's
but you didn't fuck nothing up either, did you? So
uh, terrible chart, but this I think this chart speaks to me because this is one of the worst charts on my list. So I'm kind of rooting for it. So we'll see.
it's 100% trash. The only place right now that even makes me wonder is like February 8th, February 10th. Looks kind of like what we're doing now. You
We'll
know what I
see.
mean? It looks kind of like what we're doing now. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the difference is the
Yeah,
200 is closer
right.
now. So I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But we'll get a buy signal regardless. So either way, we know we have buy signals now. But God, this chart is just it's just hot ass.
Yeah,
Could you imagine?
it's probably like,
Could you imagine going on live streams
oh
and
yeah.
comparing this chart to every other chart and saying this is what's going to happen? Could you imagine that?
I would laugh and I'll say, "Hey, great job! You found a gem." I mean, imagine if this one goes. It makes a good story, I think.
Yeah, you see the number up on the top corner of your screen right there. 5,650,097%.
Yeah,
97%.
this will make an epic story.
It's stupid numbers, bro.
Yeah,
It's stupid. For $100, if that went, you'd make 5 million. Like, shut up. You know what I mean?
it's great.
or that'd be
a
like
dollar
a
sixty,
yeah.
not a dollar 70. So
That's stupid. That's like crazy
it's
stupid.
crazy.
I have exactly $100 on this, so I'm right at my buying line. I'm right at my
Yeah,
buying line. So whatever happens, happens. At a certain point when you do this long enough, you don't mind betting 100 to see what
right.
happens. It's just you got to realize there's no emotions involved and attack it and don't be afraid.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for the rest of the list, I mean, a lot of folks in the tell, I mean, they send out great charts, great lists of coins. So all of them are good. I mean, as long as you chart them and you show them, then we can make sense of it. So,
All right, man. You got anything else?
no, I think that's scary out. I'm glad to talk to you, talk about what's going on. Um, I do want to direct people to learn a little bit about, especially the XRP holders, in terms of Flare and Spark. Kind of learn about what the protocol is doing. I think it's really innovative, and with, let's say, we make money, and our trading system is profitable. You're going to want to learn how to navigate around innovative blockchains out there, and Spark is going to be one of those front runners. So I want to direct people to kind of learn what the protocol is about, because I'd like for us to kind of talk about that and share perspectives in the Telegram and also the stream. So yeah, that's all I wanted to mention.
All right, brother. Well, hey, man, this has been dope as shit. I appreciate you coming on.
Uh,
I'm
it's
going to, like I
irrelevant.
said, I'm going to try to do an interview with everybody, all of our admins in the group, one by one. You're the second one. I just got to redo Dre's because I fucked it up. But either way, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate the shit out of it. I'll have this thing uploaded and sent over to the group tomorrow. I'll do a little bit of editing on it, and we'll be able to watch what you think.
All right, thank you. Yeah, again, this is just my perspective, and I always acknowledge everybody's collaborative perspective. So, thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, you guys.
We'll see you in the group.
All right, take care. Have a good one.
You too, brother.